G'day and welcome to Dog Talk. I'm Dan Camilleri.
And I'm Laura McKillop. We'd like to start by thanking Enduro for their ongoing support in bringing you our fortnightly podcast.
We're fortunate enough to be speaking to Mitch Perez again. How you going, mate?
Yeah, really good.
If our listeners were waiting in suspense, no, he didn't get arrested and he didn't manifest his way out of the conversation last time. He lost a bit of service there. So thanks for joining us again, mate. We appreciate it.
No, I really appreciate it. It's good to be back.
Have you caught much flack over the last nearly 6 weeks for being on with it, having a yarn with us?
No, I've actually had all right feedback. So it was a bit easy coming back on tonight.
Mate, last time when we lost you, we were just talking a bit about your dogs. Actually, we're going a bit into manifestation, and you said how much that stuff's real and you like it. Totally on the same wavelength there.
Yeah, it's one of them things. I heard a thing of podcast there a while ago, and he said with it, he connects himself to a goal, but he lets himself go of the journey. And I always I sort of resonated with that in the sense of like a manifesting type thing. When I left Warren, just for an instance, when I left Warren, and I left there and then obviously get close to a few trials and things like that. And I thought, I said to the fella out there when I left, I was like, I'm going to get to a few more trials and I'll make the New South Wales team. Like that was sort of a rough goal sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't chase it. Like I just sort of put it out there to a few people and I just thought like, that's half a goal to get to it. And then this year, like it was like 2 or 3 trials off it. And Lou Malloy rang me and he's like, mate, you're in the team. He's like, you better get to the last year to make sure you deal your spot, like get your spot sort of thing. So I think that's a little bit of that manifesting type stuff. Like you put it out there and you don't necessarily chase it. But I think there's something in the back of your mind that just keeps you working towards something. And then it pays off, I suppose.
Do you because we spoke last time about like coming into it a little bit older yourself and how you think that was good for yourself. Because I think I asked a question about older Mitch coming in versus if you would have looked at things the same if you come in younger. With that manifestation, do you use like any visualization as well? Like you go where you see yourself and you go, I'm working.
Yeah, I get pretty bad with it.
Yeah.
I go to trials and you visualize you're getting ribbons, everything. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just a natural thing, and that might come across arrogant or cocky or anything, but I've spoken to a few mates about it, and everyone has the thoughts, and I think it's a positive thing to have it. Like you're not denying everyone else of doing it, but you've got to go in with confidence. Like I think if you go into a football game, it's the same thing. You're not going out there and thinking I don't want to win. Like it's the same thing. So you just got to have that positive mindset, I suppose.
Absolutely. Well, so our conversation sometimes when I go into a particular trial.
Yeah, all the time.
I just go, Laura, I'm going to win that trial. And she just laughs at me. And then as soon as like she sees the result, she just like messages me like a smiley face or something. And like sometimes like someone go, oh, it's cocky. I just go, no, I'm just confident. Like I just think the stars are aligning right now. Because there's times you go at it, and your dogs they
know
pick
what your
up
dogs
off
are
that,
doing
right?
too.
Yeah, with that, but they're picking up all your energy as well, and it's just a winning attitude, right?
I think I need to have that attitude a bit more.
Yeah,
I think it gives you confidence in the sense that you tell yourself you're going to do something and you do it. So it's not for anyone else. It's like, it's the feeling that that gives you inside sort of thing. You just think, oh, I've trained my ass out for this, and then you won it, and you go home, regardless if you win a prize or anything. Like you go home and you're like, I said I was going to do it, and I did it. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's the feeling that you chase.
Yeah.
And the momentum that can come with it, or it can shift to start with.
And you know, like if you haven't been training the dogs and you're a bit flat or being talking a bit negative or something like that, and then you go to a trial and you think there's like, and it just goes shit. Do you know what I mean? Like you're missing points or something like that, and you just think you need to sharpen up a bit.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, like, I know at times if I'm walking out there thinking I don't know what's going to happen in a second, I should just walk off the ground. I shouldn't even walk out there because you're not confident and you know you haven't put the time and effort into it. So why, like, Yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
same aspect. Just I guess I'm looking at it in a negative way, not a positive way.
And,
Yeah.
like, even sometimes like that, like if you're overconfident, you get complacent, right? Rather than trying to stay
Yeah.
true. Like the last couple of yard trials I've been to, I've been fortunate enough to make a final every one, but I've just done some silly stuff like leaving gates open and stuff that I don't do. And I've just started doing it. And like some judges going, what is going to happen with you? And I'm like, I think I'm actually getting a bit complacent because I've actually done well in a few different things. Like, and I probably need to change that up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's where your training comes in really handy. Like if you train everything at home and your left's to left, so right to right, stop's to stop, everything is on point. When you go out there, it makes the trial a lot easier because you only have to deal with what's in front of you. Like you don't have to think, are they going to go left? Are they going to go right? And so I think that's where your nerves go away. So when you walk out there, you're calm and you relax, and it's not like, oh, what's going to happen? Because every trial's that. You don't know what the stock are going to do. But if you're confident in what your dog's going to do, it makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
I think approaching things like that has got a real good approach for anything that comes. Like just work the problem. Like don't think about what's going to go wrong. Like just work what's in front of you. Like you just in there.
And you want to the idea. I think the end goal to sort of get to, of what I try to get to anyway, is slow it down, slow everything down in your mind. So it's like if you have a really good run, you walk back and you just think, that was just proper, very smooth and yeah, it just seemed like it was slow motion, like it just went all through the motions sort of thing. And that was just because you're calm and relaxed and your dog feels it and everything like that. So yeah, I think that sort of makes a difference.
Have you always had that sort of mindset and mentality?
No. Nerves, I think I had my third or fourth trial, maybe it's going there 3 or 4 years ago, and I was dry reaching before I went out there. There's bugger all of an audience and everything, but you work yourself up so much. So I reckon I did 6 months, and I was like, I don't care results. I'm just going out there fixing nerves. Yeah. That was purely for that. Just walk out there and enjoy it. Basically, you try and do good and everything like that, but it was just one thing. If you don't get over them, you'll never get to
you'd have to put yourself in some uncomfortable situations to learn to deal with stuff.
It's a lot easier when you enjoy the situation, though. Even though it's nerve-wracking, if you enjoy the dogs and you enjoy working cattle or sheep or whatever, it's a lot easier to put yourself out there. And it is that, you're nervous before you walk out, and the second you send your dog, it all goes away anyway.
Yeah.
What's conditioning? It's no different to educating your dog, right? You can only get good at something with controlled exposure. You're only going to get better dealing with stress if you're exposed to stress in little quantities you can handle. And it's no different. Nerves are stress. So you can just take that first step and get out and do a little bit and then get out again and just build some momentum that way. Does help, and no different in educating a canine.
It's just exposure. That's all it is. If you're exposed to all different things, it becomes easier, I suppose.
And how do you go handling the lows, when it does go bad? I know that's a pretty personal question, I guess, but
no, it depends what it is. What it is. There's times that I'll kick myself for it. Do you know what I mean? If the dogs that went up to scratch or something like that. But I get over it pretty quickly. It literally lasts for 30 seconds or something like that, and you walk off and go grab another dog and try to fix the mistake on the next dog, I suppose. If depending what it is, I suppose. But yeah, I think you've got to have some sort of feeling. You don't want to be it doesn't matter, because I think it's got to mean something to you.
Anyone that knows me knows I hate reading. I just, my head's too busy. Not that I hate it, my head's too busy and I just go on tangents. But we had a yarn with Peter Crow. Geez, that was a while ago, wasn't it? And he got me hooked on audiobooks. I'm just hooked on these things. I just tap out my Spotify every month now. But I was listening to this one last month. It was the subtle art of not giving an F, and that talked about like that, like just. And another one was unf yourself. It was about just letting go of those things that you can't change and concentrate on the ones that you can. And just really help with the mindset there, like what you're talking about, like just get out.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problems are trying to see them a bit earlier. Like, and that's why I say if it's slower, you can sort of see if a dog misses a beat, you're like, oh, he's 2 seconds too late to it. Do you know what I mean? If it was there a few seconds earlier, and so it's just a matter of that. They're probably the mistakes that I try and see. And you rack brains of people there of what they look for. They look for ears flicking, and yeah, you can fully go into it. So that's probably the stuff that you try and take a learning out of it. I always say, like a trials homework, that you go there, and if something goes wrong, go home and work on it. So
how do you feel about ears flicking? Like, I know some people go, oh, that sheep done that this time. I'm like, man, they all look the same to me. Like, I don't even, when I first started trialing, I was just like, to me, they're all just white and there's too much going on. And now, like you said, like you get in there, you're exposed, and you slow things down, and it's amazing how much more you actually pick up.
You start enjoying it, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like your pressure's off, and I don't know, you watch some of the good fellas, and it just smooth, and it looks calm, and they can do it good. Some of the good fellas.
I would like to get into some trialing shortly, but when we on our last chat, we just started talking about your dogs and breeding some dogs and the type of dog that suits you. Mate, what do you enjoy about breeding your own pups?
Probably just creating a line, and just seeing a generation, and hopefully get the same as your good dogs. I kind of believe you can't get a better dog than what you got at the moment. Like you'll have different quirks with them, but I don't think they're going to get better in a sense of you might just get little tweaks in it, I suppose. Like the dogs now, I don't think that the job's going to get any better by getting somewhat a better dog or anything like that. So I try and breed consistency in it. Like that's my goal, is to try and breed a consistent line of dogs that if I have 8 dogs, I cast 8 dogs, they run the same, they move the same. That's in my head, that's what I visualize that I'm going to have. And strength will be the only difference. Like it's very hard to get consistency in strength. So, but just movement, I just like a dog that when you cast it, the head just stays on the stock. Like it just doesn't look away. Like and just a lot of feel in a dog. So, if I can sort of breed that, I've gone pretty close in the last cross. I did a half brother sister cross, doubled up on Kenny, and so I've got one little puppy, a cinch. So we'll see what he's like. And
I keep seeing pictures of him everywhere. He's really cute.
Oh, he is a cool little fella, and I tried to breed that temperament that I thought doubling up on Kenny, because Kenny's a real calm, relaxed type dog, and Cinch come out like exactly the same as him. Like you want to take him everywhere. He hasn't got that pup in him. Like he's got a pretty mature head for such a young dog, sort of thing. Like when you pat him, he'll almost go to sleep next to you, sort of thing. So fingers crossed he starts all right and he turns out. But at this stage, I like him, and he's I'll keep him around and see how he goes. So
you don't rub me up as the bloke that kind of gets influenced by outside noises either. Like you stick pretty true to what you want when you're like breeding for yourself. Would that be pretty accurate?
Yeah, I don't breed for markets or anything like that. Like it's purely for what I want, and creating that page, like creating that sort of dog line, like the MVP. It was more of a journal at the start, and it still is. That I always just thought you want to see how far you've come, and you can take videos, and if people like it, they can watch it. If they don't watch it, sort of thing. Like it was never a business type thing or anything like that, and it sort of evolved into being some pretty cool videos that I like music that I like and things like that. But one thing I sort of found out of it, if anyone does buy a dog off me, they could sort of go back and watch the videos of when it did first start and see the whole process from start to finish, within little glimpses of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I just thought that's a pretty cool thing to do. Is that if you do buy a pup, you can go back and see started at this, and
Yeah.
so it was a cool little thing like that.
Yeah, I have to admit, like Hills, I've gone back and looked at some of the videos that you had of him at like 9 and 12 months old, sort of thing, and it is cool.
Oh, geez, I've done a better job training.
No, I think God, I think he was going better then.
You do. I only said it to a mate the other day. I went back sort of 5 years ago, and I watched videos of Kenny, and it's not, they're not on, like I sort of didn't have the page then and things like that, and I was like, it was almost embarrassing. I'm like, get over, go back. I just knew no size, no nothing, and the dog's like looking at me like silly. And so I think you do forget, like we had the conversation, like how much do you forget? Because I was like, Kenny was just a natural dog. He was just naturally good. And then I watch videos. I was like, wow, it was pretty basic.
Yeah.
So it is that, like, I think at the start, and I'm going to shift more back into it, is you help the dog, and you don't, as you get better, you think, oh, now the dog should be doing this. Like, I shouldn't be helping them. But when you don't know anything, you sort of just help the dog. Like, if the job's not getting done, you have to sort of do the job for the dog. And I think over time you sort of forget it, and then next minute your dog's good, 3 or 4 year old, and so I don't know. I sort of shifted into that, thinking that there's something in that. If you really like the dog, you'll sort of keep him around. And
Sorry, I cut you off then.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Do you find that you compare your younger dogs to the older dogs and sometimes forget the hours you've put into that older dog in the process?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially the size of the dogs. Like, I've sort of got, the dogs have got a bit of size to them now, and you get a dog at 12 months old, and he's bigger than some of the older dogs, and you can put a lot of work into them, and yeah, you sort of compare and you think, why aren't they going as far as that, or why are they stopping there? And you do forget at the age, like you just.
Do you find the bigger dogs mature later? Are you finding that, or because like a lot of people do say that?
No. I don't. Oh, like there is probably a possibility in it.
Yeah. But you're not finding that with yours anyway.
I think you can get an 8-week-old pup that's mature.
Yeah.
Like that's my feeling, is that the pups that I try and pick now, they're very calm in the eye, and they're the dogs that I want. Like there's just no sort of hype. There's no sort of rubbish in them from day dot. And so when they are 12 months old, that's why you kind of treat them like an old dog, because that's how they act. Yeah. Like they don't have an immaturity there. I just, I've probably just got to, I just think they're a bit silly in the back. I just can't deal with it. Like, I just, and work does fix it. Well, like if a dog is being a bit silly, get them out, run them, get sore feet. Like you can fix it. You can fix it in that sense. But some are just naturally got a bit of hype about them. Mm-hmm. And some, I just think some dogs are, regardless of size, some dogs are just naturally mature.
Yeah.
Like you, I video a lot of what I do, and I look back and I was like, what was I doing then? But on the flip side, have you watched something back and gone, shit, why did I stop doing that? At what time did I evolve and that thing stopped happening, and I can see a massive benefit to that? Yeah,
because you do forget, like you sort of only remember what's in front of you, and it is that thing, like out of sight, out of mind. If you're not doing it, you don't even think about it. So I think it is important to go back and think. You may not thought your dogs were as good back then, but you may have got something better out of a dog back then, and they've sort of lost it now. So I think it's I just think keeping a journal or some sort of thing like that, it just really helps to look back on something, and you might be able to pick something up and bring it back in.
Yeah. How do you go about starting your pups?
I just sort of show them sheep at the start. Like it's pretty straightforward. I don't sort of fuss too much over it. If I can use younger lambs and things like that, just so they don't get too sort of frightened at the start, and just exposure, I suppose. I try and get them started as quick as I can. I have waited a bit longer to get some pups going and things like that. But once they're started, I heard a fella on this podcast, and can't remember who it was, but they sort of said they don't name the dog. They don't really interact with the dog until they're switched on. The second they're switched on, they start coming to work and they start doing a little bit. And I thought that's pretty important. Like, I don't give the dogs, if they haven't switched on, they won't play with other dogs. Like they don't have much freedom really. And the second they're switched on, then it's all free game sort of thing. But because they can get caught up, sort of things like that. And once you do that, it's very hard to stop it. Like it's they have to have a pretty high desire to want to get past that and to start working the sheep sort of thing. So
it's one of my pet dislikes is doggy dogs.
oh, it's frustrating.
Oh man, ever.
And I don't know whether I half think it's genetically there. Like
Yep.
You try and train it. You can keep them away from dogs, and you can try. They just naturally do it. Like it's just that's what I've found anyway. Like I've tried to stop it, and I've put them in the cages and with the other dogs and let them out, thinking they'll get sick of each other, and yeah, it still doesn't work. Like it's I just think some dogs are like it and some dogs aren't. So, but it doesn't bother some people. I think that's the biggest thing. Like I've sold dogs, and I was like, they bomb dogs when they jump out or whatever. They're like, it doesn't bother us. Like, so your little things that frustrate you may not frustrate someone else. So
Yeah.
it's not necessarily an indication of a bad dog. It's just what you're going to tolerate, really.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a level of control you like to have on a dog before you start taking it to do little jobs?
Nah, not really. As long as you sort of get that, like a bit of a recall, it's a lot easier when your dog doesn't cause too much, like if it hasn't got too much rubbish in it. Like if you can call them back, it's a lot easier. But I usually start them on sheep, and I probably do have like a stage if I was to talk about working them from starting a pup to a proper going dog. I have it in the back of my head that you sort of get up to that 6 months, 8 months old, and they'll just train dogs, and they'll come on water runs or something like that. Like they'll be exposed a little bit, just to outside noises and buggies and bikes and horses and whatnot. And then sort of that 8 months, they'll start coming to work in the team.
Yeah.
And I don't expect anything from them. I don't care if they don't stop or they can, it's purely just exposure because there's a lot of cattle around and things are going everywhere. So it's just to get their head right, basically, and just learn to relax in it, that we're going to be walking for a few hours and you just have to like deal with it, because they will run around a bit silly and then they realise, well, we're still here and we're still walking. So it quietens them down a little bit. And I probably do that for a few months on and off. And you'll still work on, like you might get a little bit of a side or a stop on them and a recall on them, and you'll sort of fix that along the way. But if you don't get it, it doesn't really bother me, I suppose, at that age. But then sort of that 12 months, 14 months, I'll start really ripping into them with the training. Like they'll come back in the training yard and I'll really start to get a fair bit on them. And then I sort of, that 14 to 18 months, I'll really ramp it up. And so they'll start, like by 18 months, they'll start working cow and calves. A lot of dry cattle when they're younger. So they sort of have a lot of wins up for a few months. And then, sort of by that 18 months, 2 years, they'll work with one other dog working cow and calves. And then by 2 years, like 20 months, 2 years old or whatever, they've got to work cow and calves by themselves. Like that's, for me, I won't keep them unless they can do that. Like they're good enough in the head that they can sort of handle it. So it's not that they've got to really bust them or anything. They've just got to hold their ground and have enough confidence to stand there. But you do notice that, like, you're running with a team of dogs, and I don't run big teams. It's like 3 dogs would be the very most that I'll sort of try and run. If I do run more, it might be for a quick thing just to run the dogs if they haven't been out for too much. But so they're not with a lot of other dogs, but you do see when you start running them by themselves, they get a bit lost. And so you just got to pick and choose your jobs, and you go out there and you're just like, righto, there's no backup. Like you've just got to start learning yourself that there's you're not following another dog. And so sort of in that first year to the second year, there's a lot of like stop starting, I suppose, like in a team, out of a team, and just try and get them settled like that, I suppose.
What you said before, like you're happy, like to just be a little bit more relaxed about getting them started. Have you got a particular age where you're like, all right, well, I expect something here, and you're probably not for me? Like you want to see them like keen.
Yeah, the more that I've seen, I reckon you can see it from day dot. Like I reckon I could pick a pup at 8 weeks now. Like I'm pretty confident how they're going to turn out, and it is that like I go back and watch videos, and you just watch them. Like some pups will start really slow, and the movement's slow and things like that, and they get 2-year-old, and that's what they're like. Like it's what you see when they're young. That's what you'll see when they're older. Like just naturally, I suppose. But I'll probably persist with the dog until probably 10 months, I suppose. Like that'll be my cutoff. If they're not showing too much, like they'll still work, but the desire might be a little bit like down. Like they might just be a bit blasé to it. And some dogs are. I've spoken to Dave Motley about it before. I had a Kelpie for a mate that I was training, and he just struggled in the yards, like to try and like it would really switch on, blow him up, and then turn around and run. And it was he sort of put it down to temperament, like of what he sort of mentioned to me, and he said dogs like that you just train on the job. And I've seen a few dogs like that. Like you sort of put them out, and they just don't like the pressure of training or the yard of things, and you take them to work and you forget about them, and they end up being cracking work dogs. Like it's just they don't like the pressure put on them, I suppose. And it's not to say you couldn't bring them back in later, but just at the stage where they are, like they just like their legs running and just keep them going. So I think you just got to select the dog that if they're not good for there, they might be good somewhere else. So
Absolutely. Wait, trialing. How did you get into trialing?
It was just an out, I suppose. Obviously, once you get the dogs, and then you think, oh, what am I going to do next? But yeah, I did Steve Elliott School up there and become mates with him, and just sort of met a few people off there. And it was probably 3 years ago. I think I've been trialing 3.5 years. And I went up to Rockhampton. I was out at Warren. It took me 13 hours to get up there, and I reckon I was out there for 4 minutes. One dog. But went out there, and obviously you're nervous and everything like that, and you run out there. And but yeah, that was the sort of start. And then you sort of just get hooked to it, and you realise that you need sides on your dogs and better stops. And I don't know exactly how I got into it, but it was just to meet a few different people too. Obviously, being new to the industry, you didn't know a lot of people, so. Got out and met a few people, and got into it from that, I suppose.
And it hasn't been just cattle trialing you've had to go at either.
Nah, I'll give everything a go, pretty much. So I've done 3 sheep, and I'll give yard a go and stuff like that. And the dogs don't back. Like it is very hard. It's not hard. Like I've had conversations with friends, and they're like, "You should just get them to do it because if there's yard trial there, you can go into it. Like it's not a tool that you've sort of lost if your dog does it." And it might be something that I'll do later on that I'll sort of put on the dogs, I suppose. But I just think it's fun. Like a dog's, you expose them to it at work. Like if you're cruising around, you see a mob of goats, you might send your dogs out and put them around a mob of goats, and especially on mixed places, you got sheep, cattle, like they're exposed to it all anyway. So going to a trial, if you give it a crack, like you're not going to hurt anything.
Yeah.
So I just think, depending on the year, like if you're really setting your dog up for a particular big trial or something like that, I wouldn't mix it up too much. Like you try and keep the head in the game as much as you can. But if it's mid-year or something like that, I'd be happy to throw dogs in and give them a go.
Just on that, why if you're focusing on, I think I know the answer, but I want to hear it. If you're working on a particular goal for a big trial, why wouldn't you delve into some other disciplines?
It's a bit like taking them to work before big trials and stuff like that. They can get a bit loose on it. So especially with cattle trolling and stuff like that. Like they can just hit shoulder, like not necessarily shoulders, but they can sort of get a bit pushy if they're at work, because you're sort of letting them bite a fair bit and things like that. And in the trials, you sort of want them, like if they're coming around on a shoulder and you give that whistle to come around to the head just that bit more, you don't want that initial movement to come in and bang the nose sort of thing. Like you want them to come around and get smoother movements. And so normally, like the week of a trial, I try not to take the dogs to work if I can. Like they might go for a little run sort of thing, but it's purely just to try and get consistent sides and things like that. But yeah, I think if I changed it up a bit, like if you put them in a yard trial or something like that, 3 sheep's a lot different. Like I would 3 sheep pretty easy, because it's it's probably more precise. Like all the training that I do for cattle is on pretty much the 3 sheep anyway. So principles are the same as the 3 sheep. So I definitely do a 3 sheep and then go a cattle. But yeah, going the other way, maybe a bit different as well. Which I did. I tried to do it at a Warren there a few years ago. There was 3 trials. There was one at Geary, then Cowra, and then back at Geary. So it was a cattle, 2 cattle, and then the 3 sheep. And that was pretty hard to train for. Like I just trained purely for the sheep, and yeah, and they they're hard enough to go on the cattle, so you're pretty good with it, I suppose.
My motivator behind asking that was I seen there's some discussions on Facebook, social media recently in the last couple of days about someone that wanted to compete in yard trialing and obedience. And my view on it, I suppose, is if you want to be competitive at both at an elite level, they're a bit counterproductive, because your dog's going to learn a skill set here and a different skill set there, and you might have some bleed over. So like especially in yards where dogs have to be so reactive because everything's so closer, when the dog starts to be maybe a little bit, I call it intelligent disobedience, make a few decisions for itself, but that's not something you want on like a high level obedience. And then when you mentioned that about the cattle and the 3 sheep there, like they can learn some little habits there if you're doing things simultaneous that they're going to get away with in another discipline.
Yeah, and it depends on the dog, I think, too. Like,
absolutely,
a good dog will do it. Like, I do believe that. Like, there's a few good dogs out there, and you'll see them, and they'll be high in one and go to the next one, and they're just as good in the next one. So there are dogs out there, but majority of dogs, I think, yeah, you've just got to watch it a little bit. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're out there to have fun too. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're in the mood and you want to give it a go, and you got nothing to lose really.
What keeps you on the hook?
Probably consistency, I suppose. Yeah, consistency. And I give myself little goals. Like I've backed down on numbers now, and I'm going to have. In the next few months, I'll only have homebred dogs. So I'll be back down to 9 dogs with pups, and I want to have the dog's good enough that I have 9 dogs here and 9 can win a trial. Like that's the consistency I got in my head. That's what I want to get to, whether or not it happens or not. But you just got to have it. You just got to have it there. Do you know what I mean? And just just try and work towards something, I suppose.
Have you got a memorable moment out on the grounds at the moment?
There's lots of moments, I suppose. The first one, I suppose, would have been Paraguay put a dog trial on, and this was when I sort of first got into it. So they created a dog trial, like a dog challenge, I suppose, which was sheep and cattle, like sort of yard and paddock and then a cattle section, and it was they've got the colt challenge up in Queensland. So for them, it was like a one down in New South Wales. So all the stations down there competed sort of thing. And that was a pretty cool one because I won with Kenny, and then there was an under 3-year-old and I won with Shelley. So that was first bred pup and then father-daughter. So I won with both of them, which was pretty cool. Just to myself to think, oh, well, I'm able to do it, I suppose. And then and have a pup come through. I think that's pretty exciting, is breeding a dog and bringing them through and then getting them up to a stage. Because I did go through a stage there that I was like, oh, I bought some older dogs, and I always thought Kenny was just good, like sort of good, and I was like, oh, maybe it's just the dogs and it's not me. But then you breed a few and they come through and they start turning out, and then you think, oh, well, maybe there is something in the training that you're doing to get a bit of consistency out of them. So it probably just gives me a bit of confidence that I can do it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
What would be your pinnacle, mate? What would you like to achieve?
Look, I don't really have a pinnacle. I don't think there's a roof on it. Like it's yeah, I wouldn't say there's a particular goal that I need to go out and get. Like I said, consistency, just getting a consistent line of dogs, and if you can do that for a fair while, I think that's probably a pinnacle thing that you can keep breeding something on like that. And because it is that, like you can win a trial and things like that, and like it's good, but you don't want to go home and be flat over it either. Do you know what I mean? Like there's always another one around the corner, and yeah. So I just think you don't want to be like, once I get to this, I'll be sweet.
Yeah.
So I think that just that consistency for me is go to a trial. If you have 4 dogs, try and get 4 in the finals. Like, because that just sort of keeps you honest, I suppose.
What advice would you give to someone that has a couple of dogs, is handy enough, but is probably hasn't made the step yet? Like they talk about it, but they just haven't got that confidence. Maybe it's a nerve thing or whatever something's holding them back.
It's probably a hard thing. Like I could give advice, but like we sort of said in the first talk, like it's everyone learns differently, and so the way that I think and the way that someone else thinks is different. So you can sort of be like, oh, just watch this and watch that, and I've got advice off people, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, sort of look at this, and it just goes over your head. Like you're not ready to learn it, or you're just not up to the stage of understanding it. But just talk to a lot of people, like regardless who they are. And I said it like back when I started. I remember going to one trial. I reckon it was at Dorrigo, and I went up to Dick Chapman, and I didn't know Dick very well or anything. And I said, mate, are you able to watch my run? I said, like, I had Shelley then, and I said, she's just like not getting her sides really good. I said, can you just watch her and see what you think, sort of thing. And he watched, like he was really good, and he watched me run. He come back and he said, mate, she's getting stuck on balance. Like, go home and work on this. And do you know what I mean? Like that's part of learning. And
Yep.
He'll look now. He's like, how far you've come in such a short time. Like, but it is that. Like you just talk to people and they give you advice. Like it's just handy, regardless of what it is. You might think they're doing something wrong, but you just don't know what it is. So you just need people with a bit more knowledge to give you advice on what they think it is. So yeah, that's probably what it is. It's just get around it and showcase them, and whatever they are. You're there to learn, and you're there to change them. So yeah, you'll always keep doing something with them, I suppose.
And what about like advice for someone like you've fully uprooted your life, changed your lifestyle, all that? Any advice for someone that's like sort of in your position, however many years ago, and like looking to change?
Yeah, just do it. Just jump in. And I did think about it because it's probably one thing that I've had to learn on farms. This is going to sound, I don't know, a little bit different, I suppose, but communication's probably a big thing on farms, and I think it's a big thing in everything. It's more of like on farms, it's more like a family type relationship, I suppose, like because you're living there and things like that. So it's a lot different than like just going home and holding a grudge and then you go the next day and it's sort of gone, sort of thing. So I think if you to go in there, have an open mind that you're there, like pretend like you're going to be there for a long time, and just treat them like family, I suppose, like regardless who they are. And I think that's a lot easier to jump up and like sort of go into something new, because people sort of get you back once you're open and honest with them. And yeah, I just think that's probably a good thing to keep in the back of your head if you are going to jump up and jump ship in something like that.
Yeah.
Last bit of advice. Gonna ask for someone like yourself that puts your foot in a bit of everything, like you'll have a crack at anything, and even with a bit of a split camp, what about someone that is wants to take that plunge, whether they need to source a couple of dogs? How would you, what recommendations would you give those people about sourcing the right dogs for them?
Just find ones you like, I suppose. And I don't think it comes down to money. I don't think money buys the best of the dogs. It's the time you put into them, and yeah, I just think find a pup you like, take it to work, and just learn as much as you can. Schools are a good thing. Like I did a lot of schools, and I still will. Like I do enjoy going to them, and you'll always get something out of them. So I just think get a pup that you really like, and yeah, and just enjoy the process of it, I suppose. And if they turn out good, they turn out good. If they don't, there's always another one around the corner, sort of thing. And yeah, just sort of don't try and think you're going to wreck them. Like whenever anyone gets a pup off me, I said take them everywhere, do everything with them. I said you're not going to wreck them. They are what they are. Like it's the good ones will shine through. Like it just naturally does, sort of thing. So yeah, that's sort of my advice on it, is just try not to stress too much over trying to get them perfect. Like if they don't stop the first time, like don't stress. Do you know what I mean? Like I always relate it back to like if someone was training you, how would you sort of go about it? Like if someone puts a lot of pressure on you and gets up you because you're not doing one thing, you just start putting your finger up at them. Do you know what I mean? Like where if you sort of ask the first time and then you might just make it happen somehow a bit easier. But yeah, you just kind of got to change it up a bit, I suppose, to make it really work without getting stressed about it. And that is hard. Don't get me wrong. Like you have moments in it, but yeah, that's what I would say. Just don't stress too much about it.
Cool.
Just enjoy it.
Just enjoy it. That's it.
One last question, as always. You've been given an elephant that you can't sell or give away. What do you do?
It's like a real elephant.
What is it? If you get an elephant,
you've been given an elephant that you can't sell or give away. What do you do?
Probably turn it into a circus elephant or something like that.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I guess the question would be then, like, how do you do that? Like, not even how do you do that? Like, where would you start? Like, what circus would you go to?
Oh, that's easy. You listen to Dog Talk. You look up Scott Smith.
Yeah.
Right? Or there's a few other
John Cantrell for Jackie.
Jackie. There's a few other people we've spoken to that have taught animals in zoos. There you go. So let's just listen to Dog Talk.
Yeah, Scotty Smith, he'll do something with it.
He would. Well, thank you.
Thanks heaps for jumping on again.
No worries at all. Appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. And to everyone out there listening back, please, I hope you enjoyed tonight. Please remember I actually forget my spiel right now.
We learn every day.
And the day we stop learning, we're a sad one for all of us.
I think I know it better than you now.
Probably. I'm getting old.